everyone, and welcome to a new video. Today I'm going to be talking about the do's and don'ts of character design, plus what makes a good character and what more importantly makes a satisfying character. You know, when you just look at it and go, wow, I like that guy, because they look good and they match their personality and all that stuff. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be talking about today. I'm going to put this down because I don't know what to do with it. It's supposed to be a microphone. And anyways, let's get into the video. So first of all, I feel like the most important thing to consider when making a character is like what really does make a good character design, and I feel like the simplest way to explain what makes a good character is a quote from Bendy, because I cannot make one video without talking about them. And Joey Drew is showing Buddy in the Dreams Come to Life book. He's like, hey, this is a little guy. What do you think about him? Right? And so Buddy's like, well, so he's a devil, and because of his like mischievous smile and everything, you can tell he gets into a little bit of trouble, but he doesn't really mean any harm. And being able to look at a character and already decide what their personality is or what their habits are is already so much for what a character is. And I feel like that is the most important thing to consider when designing a character. What is their overall impression that they're supposed to leave on the audience? Right. So I'm gonna be mentioning a few different animators or character designers, I guess, in this video. And first of all, I'm gonna start off with VivziePop, who recently I figured out she's been in a little bit of controversy, and a lot of people have been complaining about her art style, and I really think it's a 50-50, because I don't want to get on the everybody hate VivziePop train, because a lot of people do that. I don't want to just chase a trend, but at the same time, I do feel like it's a good opportunity to critique some of her art style and point out what I think she could improve on. And so she has a ton of different characters in her universe, which I think are good. Like, for example, I really like all the characters from IMP. So this is Blitzo. I like Blitzo. He goes on the board of approval. Actually, why don't we actually draw the board of approval that are markers? We'll get 3 different sections. We'll get good, bad, so this is going to be our good section. Wow, you cannot read any of that. Let's move you guys up for it. Y'all are on the rolly chair. I'm gonna choose a darker color so you can actually see it. No, throwing markers again. Right, so that's our good spot. This is gonna be our bad spot. Can you read that? Yeah, I think you can read that. There you go. Bad stuff. It's gonna be our bad. And then everything here is just gonna be in the middle. So our good characters, I think Blitzo pretty much fulfills what he's supposed to do, and so do all the other IMP members, because they're kind of supposed to just give off tiny little imp gremlin things, right? They're supposed to be like tee-hee-hee little goblin guys, kind of like whenever you play Dungeons and Dragons or practically any medieval fantasy game, you get the little goblin imp guys, and they're just like tee-hee-hee, we cause chaos, and that's what they are supposed to do. And I feel like they do a really good job at that, especially Blitzo's design, because as much as I love Moxie and Millie, Blitzo has this funny little thing where his face does that, And that's just, that in itself, I feel like is perfect. I like his lips to do that. That's a good character design. Now, an interesting thing about Blitzo is that he was actually designed to be like a one-off villain in Hazbin Hotel. And Hazbin Hotel, I have a lot more problems with the designs. Because an interesting thing about Hazbin Hotel is that they were made to be OCs in like another universe. So this, I just realized I didn't show you guys. This is Charlie Morningstar. She's a devil thing. Kinda, she's Lucifer's daughter. And as much as I do think her design is okay, that's all it is. It's okay. She's kind of the most basic protagonist kind of thing. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry. My door was open. So, as much as she's, great, because she's got her little devil horn, she's got her blonde hair, I wish they went a little bit more Disney princess vibes with her, because when you look at her, yeah, you can tell she's like cutesy and stuff, and you can kind of tell she's like a ringmaster, I guess, but that's about it, I wish they went a little bit more cutesy with her, or did something, I don't know, made her sleeves poofier, like the Snow White sleeves or something, or gave her a little tiara or something to wear, because in reality, she's just okay. That's all she is. Then we've got Angel Dust, who is one of the more popular characters in the series, and I'm gonna put them like right in the middle of the bad and the good sound, because I don't like them. Like, personality-wise, the character's fine and all, but they kind of just look like a Huggy Wuggy that's like pink and everything. And like, you can tell, I guess, that they're kind of girly and kind of guyish, so like, I guess you got that. But that's it. I showed this character to somebody, and their only like question was like this person has never watched the show. They were just kind of like, why do they look like that? Like, what's their face like that? I'm like, what job do you think they have? They're like, I don't know, like a waitress or something. They look like kind of fancy, I guess. Nobody can really tell what they are. It's just like, I feel like there's so much you can do with a spider character that's just not done. I wish their other eyes were more visible the other part of the time. I wish their other legs might have been more visible some of the time, because you can't tell they're a spider. They kind of just look like Huggy Wuggy from Poppy Playtime, and that's kind of a problem, because Huggy Wuggy is made for children. Like, he's supposed to be like this cute little thing who's like for kids and whatever, and then he became evil or whatever. And Angel Dust here is supposed to be an adult worker, and they look like a children's toy. So, I just wish they had more into that. I wish they leaned more into that, because there's not really anything you can see in that character that's like, yes, they're unique, which is a good thing at least, but you can't tell anything about their character just by looking at them. I'm about to start complaining really bad now. So, my least favorite design in all of Hazbin Hotel and Hello Boss combined is absolutely Alistair. In fact, I'm gonna say it, Alistair is my least favorite character in general, except for maybe Deku from My Hero Academia. I just really hate him too. Alistair is terribly designed. I don't want to like make Vivzy upset or anything, or just like hurt her feelings, and just say like your art style sucks, because she does have really good examples, but I hate Alistair with a passion, because Alistair doesn't embody anything he's supposed to be. He's supposed to be, so first of all, when designing a character, you should keep some things simple, right? He should be 2 or 3 different things, and if you can't connect those 2 or 3 different things, then it's not good, right? So Alistair's supposed to be the radio demon. That's first. So he has radios. Then he has cannibalism. And then he has deer or Wendigo. Depends on really who you're talking to, but I 100% think Wendigo. Because deer and cannibalism don't really go together, so you have to go with Wendigo. And then for some reason he also knows voodoo. So you can connect you can connect magic to Wendigos, because Wendigos are a thing from Native American culture. They are like an evil spirit that eats people, right? I'm not going to go too deep into the Wendigo background because I will be talking for hours. They're a really interesting thing. But Alistair doesn't look like a Wendigo. I'm going to be honest with you. He doesn't look anything like a Wendigo. Do you guys know what a Wendigo looks like? It's a giant deer creature with a skull. Sometimes they're just gray people. But most of the time, Wendigos look like this, with huge horns that outreach and everything. They look terrifying because that's what they're supposed to be. And he doesn't look anything like it. He just looks like, pardon my language, but he just looks like a furry twink. And you can't tell anything about him. He doesn't even look like a deer. I showed his design to a friend of mine, and she designs personas, and even she was like, what is that? A fox, maybe? A Tumblr fox man? And I just kind of laughed because, she's like, she's got her paws and everything, but Alistair doesn't look like even, you can't even defend him and say he's like a DeviantArt OC, because even the DeviantArt people agree that he doesn't match what he's supposed to be. He doesn't look like what he's supposed to look like. And then on top of that, remember how I said Wendigos are a Native American thing? Why does he have voodoo then? Voodoo is from the South. Voodoo is from the South in America. And then the whole Wendigo thing is from North America, like Canada. That's a whole different place. Maybe if Alistair had some traveling in his background, that would make sense, but it doesn't. So just cross out the voodoo. There's no reason to have voodoo when you can just give him some native looking stuff, or just regular Satanism or something like that. Or just, because Wendigos are supposed to be evil things. Give him Wendigo magic. They have magic, They have control over the weather. They have voice mimicry. And you see, you could combine Wendigo with radio because of the voice mimicry. But he doesn't have any radio in his design. The only thing he has is a microphone. And that's so stupid. That's dumb. That's just a prop. You don't have, it's a prop. It's nothing of the character. If any other character only had something as a prop that didn't contribute anything to the design, it would be a problem, But Alistair somehow gets away with it, and it makes me very mad. Imagine if Norman Polk from Benny and the Ink Machine was just a normal guy and he just carried a projector around. That's what Alistair is doing. It's not okay. He has no use of radio in his design. He doesn't have any Wendigo in his design. He doesn't have anything that contributes anything to his design. He just looks like a fox. His colors are too bright to give any sort of realization for what he is. You could easily design him a better way by giving him some sort of skull mask. You don't need the monocle, it's too much. The bangs don't give the right vibe. He's supposed to be from the 1920s. Those bangs are early 2000s emo. His ears are way too big and way too fox looking. And then on top of that, you can't even see his horns in his design. He looks small. Like, I understand VivziePop has a thing with drawing really thin characters, which I'm gonna get into later, because I don't like when creators just recreate the same exact body type for everyone. But I think Alastor is the most guilty of this, because even though he's a Wendigo, he should be thin. There's nothing else to exaggerate his thinness. He's just a twink. So, just so that my words aren't empty, I have a redesign for him, just so that you can see. I gave him an actual skull mask so that, you can see the, I ate people vibe. I toned down his colors a little bit, but I also kept the signature red for his arms. I made his arms much bigger, and I made his shoulder blades huge and his chest huge, again, to exaggerate his thin waist, because Wendigos have this thing where, the more they eat people, the bigger they get, the thinner their stomach gets. And there's, this whole myth where if they turn around to the front, you can't even see them, they're that thin. Because, yeah, that makes sense, I guess, right? But Alastor, he's just normal skinny. He needs a giant rib cage or something to exaggerate it. I kept his hoof shoes because that I do actually like. I gave him a branchy microphone without the eye because I just think the eye, I understand it's supposed to foreshadow him working with this other lady, but there's enough foreshadowing already, I feel like. Or he could add an eye to something that actually looks like it belongs to him. And then I put radio into his chest because he has zero mechanical parts at all. There's nothing to suggest any sort of mechanical stuff. And then I also gave him some browns and rust colors and gave him slick back hair so that he actually matches his design. Okay. I'm sorry. That was very, very enthusiastic. So I'm just going to put that here. Okay. I'm going to talk about another red cannibal devil now. From another show. Spooky Month. Oh wait, I gotta do the dance. Alright, so. Bob Valseb is also a cannibal. And I'm gonna explain why I think he's better in design-wise. Because, first of all, he's actually intimidating. He has freaking ginormous eyes. Despite Alastor also having ginormous eyes and a ginormous smile, when you look at Bob Valseb, it's 90% of his face. He doesn't have any other features like hair to distract from the fact that his face is, you can even see it on my shirt, his face is 90% his eyes and his mouth. He's freaking crazy, and it works. Then on top of that, he has so much stronger shape language in his design because he's huge. He towers over all the characters. Despite his design being so simple, it really gets across what the design is. When you look at him, it's very clear what he is. He has his butcher tools in his belt. He's got his giant build. He's got his crazy eyes and his crazy mask and all of that, and it makes it very clear what he is. If you were to go up to somebody and show Bob Valseb with, of course, his butcher tools showing on his belt, it would be very clear what he wants to do. And even if his butcher tools weren't showing, it would be clear he is some kind of person killer, right? The fact that he also has his tools and whatever does help distinguish that he's a cannibal, but most people would also be able to guess he's a cannibal just because he's massive and also very spherical. And despite him being spherical, which is supposed to, in shape language, mean soft and everything, he's just so big and so crazy looking that it's obvious that he is not mentally there in the head. He probably has mad cow's disease. Anyways, this is a good cannibal design. It shows what he's supposed to show. In fact, speaking about Spooky Month, I'm gonna go further into it because Spooky Month has some fantastic designs. You know, I'm gonna put them all in here because with Skid and Pump, you look at these babies, it's so obvious what they're supposed to be. You know? You look at these guys, hold on, Pump, I'm gonna put you down. You look at these guys and you're like, okay, so first of all, they're children because they're tiny, right? They're very clearly gremlin-y as well because of how stupid their faces look, right? And then you can tell that because this one's a skeleton, which is like really crazy to think because his head is literally a sphere, he still looks like a skeleton. This guy looks more like a skeleton than Alistair looks like a Wendigo. And he's made up of a circle and a square. That's his entire body. Being able to use an art style this simple to convey a point better than Alistair's super detailed style says a lot. And that's why I think simplistic styles are really good to learn from when learning character design. Keep it simple, guys. It's really easy to look at a design and just be like, oh, how can I make this make sense? And then when you look at Kevin, I asked some people who didn't know what Kevin was from Spooky Month. I was like, hey, what do you think this guy's job is, right? I show them the full uniform, and they're like, well, he obviously sells sweets, because it's so obvious. His color palette is pastel, his bow tie is literally a candy, and he looks like a minimum wage teenage worker. It's just so obvious because of his design. Even the way he stands because of his design. I want a different color marker. Even the way he stands because of his design works so well because he has like an oval shape which just exaggerates how he looks like a teenage boy, you know? He looks like a teenage guy, you know? And then he has this funny little hat which makes him look like a minimum wage worker, you know? And it works so well because it's such a simple design that shows so much already, right? Oh, that's a lot of talking. And then related, again, to Skid and Pump, there's another series which they're featured in, which I'm not the biggest fan of music games, but I feel like FNF has some fantastic character designs which are really important to learn from because, well, I mean, they're good, right? So, first of all, I just wanted to point out Garcello. I just love this design. So, I'm putting this in the good. Give him a gold star, right? I know he's not made from the main game. He is a fan character, but the design is so fantastic because, listen here, right? We got Boyfriend. Boyfriend is a character. He's like the main character guy, and he kind of looks like this, right? So, the first thing that you notice about Garcello and Boyfriend when compared to each other is that Garcello is just kind of like, he's bigger, obviously, but he's got a lot of the same elements to his outfit. They both have the white t-shirt. They both have a bluish hair, although Garcello's is more of a teal and it's a lot darker. And then on top of that, Garcello also has a big hat like Boyfriend's, but it's turned up in the front, hides his eyes, and gives him, and it's a darker, less saturated color. Because I feel like the parallels between Garcello and Boyfriend are just so well done because they exaggerate each other and they work well together. And the reason that I feel like it's good that they desaturated his colors compared to Boyfriend's really bright, vibrant blue is that Garcello is a smoker. It's kind of like the bad ending, right? And then Garcello even tries to get Boyfriend on it, on the cigarettes and whatever, and the boyfriend's like, rap battle me first. And I thought that was funny. But Garcello is kind of like a mentor figure who took like the wrong route in life. And I love that about his design because he looks tired. He looks very homeless. Most people who look at him are like, that's a homeless man, actually. He's very sickly. And that's what he's supposed to convey. Additionally, his design is made up of squares, right? Which is great. I feel like squares are probably the most underutilized design element in characters. So I'm glad that somebody finally uses them for something. Right? And I feel like they did that really well with Garcello because it gives mentorship vibes, right? It gives stability almost, which is funny because Garcello dies immediately. And now I'm going to share what I think is absolute peak character development. I'm just kidding. It's not this one. Although I love her design. She's a goober. It's so cute. And she looks like a goober. That's what she is. That's all she is. I think peak character design is B3 Garcello. From Friday Night Funkin' B3. I believe it's a mod for B2 remixed by Clover Darris. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. Oh my gosh. I love whoever made him. This is, in my opinion, better than good character design. So, sorry, somebody came in my room. B3 Garcello, hold on, I just want you guys to look at him some more. Looking at him is so easy to tell what he is. It's immediately, like, you can tell exactly what he is. First of all, they took Garcello's design and they made him bigger and more blocky, which I love that. They gave him a little bit of softer angles, and even if you look at his hair, which looks spiky, it's made up of squares. It's made up of squares. He has more of a mentorship guide because he is bigger, he is larger, and he is more square, so he gives even more of a mentorship guide. He looks less sickly, at least at the start. He looks less sickly because he no longer has his really toned down colors like the OG Garcello. He has fluffy gear, and so everybody who immediately looks at him, when I show this character design, they're like, oh yeah, he's like a snow hiker or something. He like goes in the snow, he like climbs mountains or like hikes in the snow, right? And it's so good, right? You can even tell he actually has a climbing harness on and the ice shoes. So even people that don't know what a climbing harness is, they still recognize the sharp boots and the snow gear. So they're like, yeah, he does like exercise or whatever in the snow, right? And the goggles and everything, which is so good. But when I saw this character design, like every character design, I look at it super critically, and then I was like, okay, so I love this design, but it seems to have one problem. He is ginormous, and he's supposed to be an ice hiker. An ice hiker, I feel like, should be a more lean design, because as much as I do love body diversity, and you guys know how much I love characters to have different shaped bodies, B3 Garcello is so huge when I feel like an ice hiker should be more lean. Because like he might fall through the ice or something, or fall off a mountain or something, and guess what? He does fall through the ice. That is how he dies. And oh my gosh, having a character where people recognize already the flaw in his design before even playing the game is so crazy strong. Having a character that is so obviously meant for something, and then having their flaw showcased in their character design is peak character design. I don't think it gets better than this. I probably in a week will find a new obsession, but I wanted to make this video for a while, and as soon as I saw B3 Garcello, I knew I had to show it because it is incredible. Having a character where you can already predict something that happens in their life just based on their design is amazing. He gives so much more of a mentorship vibe. He gives so much more of another, like, just in general, he improves upon what the original Garcella already had. And the creator did a fantastic job. Again, Clover Darris, I believe you're the one who created them. You did amazing. I don't think it gets better than this. This is peak character design. Being able to guess already what's going to happen to the character just by looking at them is phenomenal. I love that. So that's about it. Again, I wanted to clarify, I don't think VivziePop's art style is bad necessarily, because they have good characters. I like Fizzaroli. Fizzaroli is a good character. Because you look at them, you're like, oh yeah, that's a clown, easy peasy. But there are also elements to character design which I think are lacking, like Alistair and Angel does, because you can't tell what they're supposed to be. So, lesson of the story: when designing a character, take it simple, break it up into shapes, and then decide how you're going to showcase what they are, what they do, and who they are in their personality before trying to make them look all cool and fancy. Garcello looks all cool and fancy, but if he just had that yellow pop of color, it just wouldn't be that special. And also, for all of my artists out there, I just want to show some respect to Clover Darris, because even though their B3 mod was cancelled, I really want some more love for B3 Garcello, because I love him very much, but I haven't found a single piece of fan art of him. Please, my fellow artists, can we draw him and do some fan art of him just to show our appreciation, because, well, he's a fantastic character, and I want more people to learn from his designs. So thank you guys. Everybody have a wonderful day, and go make some nice characters.